Reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
A lone security guard doing his rounds gets his hackles raised when he feels something ain't right on his shift. Unfortunately, he's correcto as he stumbles onto a gruesome corpse and a silent man who stares at him before vanishing into thin air. This is the setup for the eeriest film you probably haven't heard of, 2020's The History of the Occult. Per the synopsis on the IMDb page for the film, it's 60 minutes to midnight's last broadcast, the most famous journalism show on TV. Tonight's is Adrian Marcato, who might expose a conspiracy that links the government with an action. Directed and written by Christian Ponce, starring Germán Baudino, Nadia Lozano, and Hector Ostrovsky. Now, I've bleeped out a very important aspect to that synopsis because I went in pretty much not knowing what would be going on. I'd seen the trailer some time ago and found the black and white, clinically edited visuals to be intriguing enough to give this movie a go. So what is this film about? It's 1980s Argentina. A group of very concerned people keep a keen eye on the final episode of an unsolved mysteries type of television show called 60 Minutes to Midnight. Its host has two guests on that are debating whether or not a very shadowy and world-changing paranormal event has occurred. I won't go much more into what is said because I want you to discover this film, much like I did, but this is very simply a microcosm of a larger story that this film doesn't have the budget to tell, honestly. Is it a bad thing? No. In Christian Ponce's film, we're given breadcrumbs, slowly fed information to a story that is classic in nature, Lovecraftian in scope, and lo-fi in execution. Did that aspect intrigue me? Absolutely. Is it for everyone? I don't know. First off, let's get into how the film unfolds. This isn't a typical horror film from premise alone. It's more of a mystery that gives you no apparent answers until midway through. It's a big brains type of film that is constructed for an audience that can hopefully keep attention. It's black and white, so it has this noir look that keeps an established feeling of a time long past. It's dialogue heavy with slight to no jump scares. It's not a haunted house film, though those tropes do come into play sometimes. It's more about the unknown, the unsettling nature of not being able to comprehend a larger truth. The acting is all top-notch. The show within the film, 60 Minutes to Midnight, is a gloriously constructed nod to 1950s/60s television. But it takes place in the 80s, doesn't it? Well, that figures into the larger scope of the idea of the film. What kind of person or shadowy organization would like to keep the masses sleeping, hypnotized? What breaks in reality can people make to show others the absolute truth? The unsettling scares in the film are effective even if some of them are very clearly digital. There's one sequence in the film where a voice simply utters the name Maria over and over that gave me flashbacks to the stop-motion weirdo movie The Wolf House. It's very, very creepy. Steaming corpses, false memories, hidden agents, intrigue, questions of reality. That's the type of movie that this is cloaked in a rigid black and white shroud. This story, I believe, is better to watch knowing ahead of time the disastrous political mayhem that occurred in the 1980s Argentina. It will inform the film rather than remove any intricacies. Look into the dirty war of 1974 to 1983. Does it take away from the film if you don't know any history? If you don't do the homework? No. It's a particular type of bizarre film that has inklings of Lynch and even stranger Adam McKay. As the leads impatiently wait for the truth to be exposed on their canceled television series, a litany of strange events and cloak and dagger shenanigans keep the ticking clock element beautifully running. You don't know what's going on for the most part, but there's a sense of urgency with every questionable person down the corner, shadowy figure, and occult-spewing television guest. The fact that there is no central main character also lets the story breathe and feel complex without having to worry about the aspirations of one lead when 95% of the core characters have one singular goal. What Christian Ponce achieves with this film is a cold clinical take on the Red Scare from the Red Scare's point of view. It's an allegorical tale of politics embedded in the history of witchcraft. The edits are clean, the soundtrack is sparse and chilling, the creature effects are subtle and spooky. Through the black and white, there are moments of stylized color that are particularly novel. Aesthetically, a wonderfully put together film that is lensed as a television show about a television show. We're dumped midway into the story, but that sense of urgency only helps set the mood for the film. I like the movie. Is it perfect? Probably not. If you're into unsettling, disturbing cinema, look no further. A political fable about an uprising that is looking right into the void. Low on gore, high on creepiness. That's the type of film that this movie is, and that's a type of film that I do like. So I'm letting you know ahead of time, it is not a jump scare type of film. It is more of a what the hell did I just see and what is going on type of movie. 7 out of 10, taking reality-altering drugs to fight off the wicked government. This has been Horror Deconstruction.